dire.
Yeah, millions of kids could lose their spot as early as next month. NBC 10's Lucy Bustamante is here with a closer look at the looming crisis. Lucy, what is changing? Because this is critical.
It's critical, and it's millions upon millions of dollars that came in because of COVID. All of that is going to get pulled back. So here's the deal. The pandemic funding drying up in only 2 weeks. Childcare providers received $24 billion in federal relief to help keep them afloat. That's nationwide, and all of it going away. By one estimate, 70,000 childcare programs could be closing around the country because of the loss of federal dollars. And there are fears that nearly 3.2 million children could lose their spot at daycare, leaving parents with no options.
I would call this a crisis. That affects millions of parents around the whole country. It affects the employers of those parents, and it affects the communities they live in.
Andrea Bambino says that she couldn't get her daughter Audrey into any daycares, so her mom now drives 50 minutes each way to watch her granddaughter.
It was not an easy process at all. My mother basically kind of retired early because we were thinking like, well, what are we going to do?
And how lucky is she has grandma in the picture, right? Many daycares use the pandemic funds to hire new staff, cover rent, supplies, and create protocols to handle the viruses like COVID. And now they're scrambling to figure out exactly what to do. So experts say the rollback in federal funds that could severely affect mothers who went back to work after the pandemic in record numbers. And for many people with young children, they really cannot work without childcare. We'll see what happens with this.
Yeah.
To make a government funding deal as a rift grows between Republicans here about what to do about aid to Ukraine.
NBC's Bree Jackson reports now from Washington.
House Republicans working around the clock to address internal bickering and avert a looming government shutdown.
I feel we made some good progress this weekend.
I'm optimistic that we will continue to move the appropriations process forward, and that includes the DoD appropriations bill.
Critical factions of the House GOP reached a tentative deal Sunday. It paves the way to pass a defense spending bill, which Republicans held up last week, and provides a short-term solution for government funding, keeping military and VA funding at current levels while cutting other domestic spending by 8%. There's no mention of more money for Ukraine, which is something President Biden is pushing for.
The House certainly the Republican caucus overwhelmingly supports aid for Ukraine. There will be issues over what the administration has asked for and what Congress ultimately gives.
It also includes hardline Republican border measures, which Democrats are unlikely to support.
We have a vision to put people over politics. That's what we should be doing.
Even some Republicans say a shutdown is imminent.
I've talked to some federal employees that don't really mind it because they're going to get a vacation, they're going to get time off, but then they're going to get back pay. And so they're not really grumbling about a government shutdown. It's more than meets the eye.
The GOP-led measure faces an uphill battle with just days until government funding runs out. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.